The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, South Snohomish, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40334. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting first at the front bumper. On a 45-degree angle on each side, you have your electronic siren and PA speaker. Just inside that location, dual air horns. Directly in the center, you have a notch for your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the bumper extension onto the passenger side, where you'll find an inlet. Just inside that location, a storage location for that hose and inlet. As we move over to the driver's side, you'll find a storage location for additional hose for your front discharge. Moving to the right, you'll find a swivel discharge. Let's move up onto the cab face, where you'll find a marker turn indicator light on the outer edge of the bezel. And then just inside that location, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Just above that location are your emergency warning lights forward facing. As we move to the windshield, there are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. And then let's move to the outer edge of the A-pillar, where you'll find your mirror housing a convex and flat mirror. Just up from that location on the passenger side, you'll find a convex mirror downward facing. To the brow, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. And located just above that location, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Let's move up onto the roof of the apparatus, where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located with inside the light bar in the center area is where you'll find your opticom. Let's take a look at some images here now of the side of the vehicle, and then we'll focus in on the cab section next, starting first down with the front axle, where you'll find a visual sight gauge indicator. Moving to the front bumper area, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving now into the step well, where you'll find your shoreline power. As we move up to the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator, and then easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are the door lock and latch combination. They are keyed. Right next to that, you'll find a grab handle for gaining entry and exit in and out of the cab. Also, you'll find a push button combination to unlock your doors or lock the doors. And then also, once again, shoreline inlet. Moving toward the rear, you'll find emergency warning lights in the lower zone, and then also emergency warning lights in the upper zone at the very top section. You'll also find a side-facing scene light located just over the driver and passenger side. Let's move from this location to the pump panel. We'll come back to this area in more detail, and we'll move on to the body section, where you'll find a front and rear storage location for your wheel chock. Also, as we move up, you'll find emergency warning lights bedded with inside the rail area. Also, emergency warning light directly over the rear axle. As we move to the upper section rear portion of the body, you'll find a side-facing scene light. And then at the very top, you'll find a 360-degree emergency warning light. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll start down in the bottom section, where you'll find an emergency warning light, brake, turn, and reverse light cluster on the passenger and driver side. There are also 2 fold-down steps for gaining access into the hose bed area. You'll also find cupped switches here for your hose bed and rear scene. Moving to the outer edge, you'll find discharges on the passenger and driver side, 2.5 inch, and also a backup camera. As we move up this location, you'll find your hose bed dividers. They are adjustable. And then up to the very top, emergency warning light rear facing, along with a 360-degree emergency warning light above that. Across the very rear section, you'll find rear facing scene lights, and then also at the top section, your traffic advisor. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle, and then we'll move into the body section next. This is the location where the exhaust is, just in front of the rear axle. And then moving up from this location, emergency warning lights in the top section, long-handled pike poles, and then also you have ground ladder storage location. There are 3 ladders in this area. As we move to the mid section, same thing, we'll come back to this section, and then on to the cab section, same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side. Let's take a look at some close-ups, first starting with the side-facing emergency warning light on the bumper extension, your front inlet, and then also an emergency warning siren and PA speaker combination. That's the angled grille area. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find the storage location for that front bumper inlet with Velcro tie downs, center section here with your air horns and also mechanical siren, and then over to the driver's side, additional storage location, and just to the right of that location you'll find your swivel discharge. This is a 2.5-inch discharge, which is reduced down to 1.5-inch thread. The next set of images will highlight the graphics in the area. First on the front, South County Fire, just above the Pierce logo, door logo here, South County Fire EMS, and then also South County Fire on the hatch area. As we move down to the rear roll-up door, South County Fire EMS, and then on the hatch compartment again, South County Fire. As we move around to the door logo on the passenger side, South County Fire EMS. Let's go ahead and move now into the driver's space. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch combination, electric window controls for all 4 cab windows, and then also a grab handle just to the left of this location. We'll go ahead and move into the cab section next. We'll start into the step well area. As we move into the step well, you'll find a cover plate here. This is housing your battery charging receptacle. And as we move into about the engine area, you'll find this placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. This also have the vehicle's VIN number, fluid capacities for each fluid component, and also fluid type. At the floorboard on the left-hand side, you'll find a mechanical siren foot pedal. Let's move to about the left knee of the operator in the seat, where you'll find your master battery switch, quarter turn, your tech module, and then also your engine, transmission, ABS engine diagnostic port. You also have some switches here, ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, regen inhibit, and then also your display port. Your vehicle is equipped with a airbag. This is the SRS front impact bag, and then also controls on the steering column for windshield wiper. As we move to the right, you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions from road to pump, and then also instructions from pump to road. There are 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump. Both indicators are required for pump operations. Let's move just to the right of this location, where you'll find your mirror control for the flat and convex mirror. These are the mirrors on the A pillar. And as we move to the dash, on the left, you'll find your ignition and start switch. On the right, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. Also your headlight and panel light, allowing you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. To the right, you're OK to engage your high idle indicator and switch. As we move to the dash cluster, you'll find in the very center your tachometer and speedometer. As we move to the left, you'll find your transmission, oil, def level, and water temp. On the opposite side of the cluster, you'll find volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. As we move to the center, you'll find diagnostic information will display above and also below, in addition to the digital information displayed in the center lower section. General view, pull to apply your system parking brake, push to release. It's the yellow diamond here. Also your Allison transmission pad, push button, digital readout, informational note, here in yellow to pump in drive. At the very top, you'll find the command zone, digital display, touchscreen, and also function button. Located here, tremendous amount of information right at your fingertips. Please see the owner's manual for more information. Switches here for engine brake on and off, settings for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, an air dump for the rear suspension, siren brake for your mechanical siren, and then also you have a mirror heat. Let's move just down to the left where you'll find, once again, your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. These are the rear spring brake along with your transmission Allison pad. We have some informational caution and warning notes also in this area, along with climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. These are control modules for that. Just above that location, you'll find your siren control module. And as we go overhead of the driver's seat, yellow placard here indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet, 0 inches, length of the vehicle, 32 feet, 2.75 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating, 42,000 pounds. If you make any adjustments to the vehicle that may affect this placard, please update this placard for the operator. To the right, switch panel, emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. When the switch has been activated, the green light will illuminate, indicating the switch has been activated. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find your Opticom switch located within the center section of your light bar, a momentary Opticom switch, high beam flash, electronic siren, which is a mode, and then also air horn and roto ray. As we move to the right, you'll find all of our scene lights. We have a front scene, driver's scene, passenger scene, deck light, load manager, and rear cornering lights. Also to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor control module. Let's look to the center at the roofline area, where you'll find in the forward section seatbelt information, red, someone is in the seat and not belted, green, in the seat and belted. Also a do not move your apparatus if this light is flashing, indicating you may have a compartment open. To the center section, we have resource storage. As we look to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find 2 forward-facing seats with SCBA brackets and storage compartments. Let's look behind the seat of the driver. You'll find the manual control for the cab tilt. And as we look back to the exterior, this is your shoreline power, and then also push-button keypad. Quick look at the wheel and Goodyear tire. Those are Alcoas. As we move to the rear cab area, we'll move inside this area, first starting with your door panel. Affixed to that door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. Also overhead push on and off red or white lens lights, your air conditioning unit, and then also we have 2 cabinets on each side rear facing, and there is netting here with shelving located inside. Just behind the driver seat, you'll find additional roofline storage. As we move toward the center section, pass-through area, and then as we move just below this section, this is the rear portion of the engine, which is also the location for your daily checks for oil and transmission. As we move to that upper right corner behind the officer seat, additional storage. And then just moving downward, you'll find the rear-facing storage also with netting and also compartment light. As we move toward the rear cab, once again, 2 seats located here forward-facing on the rear cab wall, overhead storage, and then just under the seats on the pedestal area, you have additional storage in the lower section. Let's take a look at the upper section storage. Let's move to the exterior now, where you'll find an additional compartment on the rear cab wall. This has vertical storage and also transverse storage. As you can see here, we have some New York hooks, long-handled tool storage. As we move down to the pump panel, we'll start in the very top section, the upper left. We have an additional storage for hose loads. And we'll move down to the pump panel area, where you'll find first with the pressure and discharge gauge. In between the two of those, test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. All your discharges are located here. They are color-coded and also labeled. We'll start first in the upper right with your pressure throttle governor. Just underneath that, you do have an audible alarm that's located here. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate to increase or decrease sound. As we move just to the right, you'll find your switch panel here with a red air horn switch. And then as we move further down, water tank level indicator, it's the blue module. Then just to the right, we have a warning placard indicating when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Just below that, you'll find your fire pump primer is a push to prime air prime, at least 1000 RPM for best practices. Moving down to the lower section, you've got discharges. These are 2.5 inch, once again, color coded. Also a warning placard indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Along with your air supply and air outlet chuck. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find inlet control here via your TFT valve. And then as we move further down in the lower section, you've got some electric valves here. This one controls the front inlet. And then also we have a direct tank fill with an electronic valve for that direct tank fill. As we move further down, a couple placards. First, your Watrous placard indicating the type of pump and model. And then also a warning placard here indicating only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. To the right-hand side, you'll find your main pump drain, and then just below that, you'll find the manual pump shift. Let's go ahead and go back to those placards here real quick. First, let's cover the Watrous placard indicating the pump model CSU, trans model C22C, and capacity 1,750. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule with a governed speed of 2,400 RPM. You do have a cutout here for hose storage just below the pump panel, and then under the running board you'll find the direct tank fill auxiliary inlet drain. Also in the under section you'll find the air tank drain. Those are just quarter turn brass fittings located just underneath this space. There are 3 of them located within this space. As we move further back into the compartments, we've got pegboard on the rear wall, adjustable shelving, and then also in the lower section, a pull-out tray release located on the lower right. Let's take a look at the over wheel compartment where you have a vertical divider and also a tray, or I should say shelf, in the upper section. In the lower def fill location, located here, it is the blue cap. As we move toward the rear section or behind the rear axle, it's where you'll find your ultra low sulfur diesel. We'll come back to that. Back up to the compartment over wheel, once again, adjustable shelf. Moving back down to the rear axle, Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel. And then as we move just to the rear of this location, the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location, it is the silver cap. Some additional warning placard information on the on the caution label here for fuel. And as we move to the next compartment at the rear, you'll find adjustable shelving, pegboard on the rear wall. In the lower section, you can identify here, we have a shoreline outlet. There are 4 plugs located within this space, female receivers. And then also a pull-out tray in the lower section, release located on the lower right. All compartments open now on the driver's side. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus next. We'll start first in the upper left-hand corner with the cupped switches. Starting on the outside, you'll find your deck lights, and then also you'll find your rear dump located here, which will lower your rear axle. As we move to the right, couple warning placards here. First warning, when climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle, and then also warning, never ride on the vehicle while the vehicle is in motion. Adjustable hose bed dividers across the very back section in the hose bed area. Just below that, you'll find a backup camera, and then some additional warning placards here. Let's start first in the upper right. Entanglement hazard, because those lines coming from out the rear of the hose bed area, we're concerned about the entanglement of those hose. Also, pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the lower section, you'll find a roll-up compartment door, pull-out tray in the lower section, release located on the right, and then also an adjustable shelf. Let's go ahead and move underneath where you'll find an attachment point and then also a South County Fire mud flap full width. And then as we move back up to the top, you'll find your discharge and then also that pressure warning hazard. Let's move down to the passenger side of the vehicle, adjustable shelf in the middle of the compartment, and then in the back wall, once again, shoreline outlet. There are 4 female outlets in this space. As we move to the over wheel compartment, SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles with retaining strap. Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel. As we move to the forward location here, you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles, retaining straps also. As we move to the lower section, diesel exhaust here, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. especially during regen. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move now, you'll find your air compressor located here. This is operational when plugged into shoreline power. As we move forward to that location, we're now into the upper portion of the midsection, where you'll find the booster reel or red line. As we move forward to this location, you'll find bundle storage. And then now to the pump panel area, a couple warning here regarding warning, entanglement hazard. Also in the lower section, you'll find your reel rewind switch. In the gray module is your powered equipment rack for your ladders, some danger and caution information, and instructions for its operation. We have a cab lift also, caution and danger placard, informational note on how to operate, and then also cab not locked indicator. And here a caution indicating ensure that your inlet swivel is facing forward before raising the cab. As we move to the lower section, warning regarding climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle, access panel, and then also a warning here regarding pressure hazard. As we move to the lower section, these are the 2 discharges and intakes in this area. And then also as we move to the very bottom section, this is the passenger side. You have a TFT valve here for inlet control. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains in the lower section, forward and rear, and then also an auxiliary inlet. This is the passenger side auxiliary inlet, 2.5 inch, locally controlled via the ball valve here at this location. Cut out here for hose storage in the running board, and then below that you'll find your front inlet drain. We're now going to go ahead and move to the rear portion of the cab area. D-handle gains you access into this space. In the transverse section, you'll find pipe pole or New York cork storage, long-handled tool storage in this space also. Let's go ahead and move now into the rear portion of the cab. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to that door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock, latch, window control, and grab handle. Overhead is your air conditioning unit, and then also push on or off red or white lens roof lights. As we move inside to the cab area, there are 2 forward-facing seats. This is kind of just a review. And then we'll move now forward of this location into the officer space. There is an image here depicting the airbag location. As we move around into the officer space, we'll start first with the door panel. A fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, combination door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. At the floor level, we have an air horn and a mechanical siren foot pedal. Also, just in front of the officer seat, there is a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, and also a warning placard indicating for mounting of equipment within this area, and then also your windshield wiper fill location on the A pillar. As we move overhead in the officer seat, we do have some switch panels located here. Let's cover those next. First, starting with your front scene, driver's scene, passenger scene, rear cornering lights, and a siren brake for your mechanical siren. Once again, when any of the switches have been activated, the light will illuminate that the switch is active. As we move to the forward section, you'll find under the seat you have additional storage. Let's move back to the ladder rack area where you'll find all compartments open, and then the operation of the ladder rack. Now a few images to depict that movement. Fully extended here, 24-foot roof, 14-foot roof, and a Fresno. Just a couple of different images here showing the location and height of the ladder rack. And then we'll move up to the top section or roof of the truck. First, let's start with the front forward cab area. This is considered a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these stickers on the outer edge warning you of that. It's extremely slippery, and so we're advising you not to walk on this space. As we move just to the rear section here, we'll start first with your dunnage area and also top fill, water fill. You can see the yellow identifiers marking the edge of the walking surface. Master stream, and then also red line located in this space. Manual rewind on this reel at the very top section, and also a free tension spool knob. Master stream device It is an extend a gun, and then also, once again, just back to that dunnage area here, just before you get to the hose bed area. Top fill for water, and then let's take a look at the hose bed. You can walk on the cover. That's the identifying yellow diamonds around the edge for the walking surface. The next set of images will have no additional audio. These are additional chassis images and also images of the motor and rear portion of the chassis. Congratulations, South Snohomish, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40334. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.